Well, so thank you, Pete and Dimitri, for the invitation. It's a little hard to follow after Rebecca just gave me that really nice comment, so thank you also, Rebecca, for that. These are my disclosures. None of these are relevant for this particular talk. Like Rebecca, I also have some relevant disclosures. So I am a fellowship program director. I'm a division chief. I'm a vice chair for clinical affairs. And for a few more hours, I'm the president-elect of SAGES. So what I'm going to talk about today is actually, in all of these roles, what I'm looking for when I'm hiring somebody or putting somebody in a position and what I expect them to do once they're there. So starting as the fellowship program director, these are my two fellows. How I pick my fellows is by these different things. And people always ask this when they interview, what are you looking for? Well, some of the things are pretty straightforward. They have to meet the credentialing guidelines in my institution. But beyond that, it matters where they train a little bit. If they come with people backing them up that I know, that I trust, that's helpful. So those are the references that are important. Test scores are some way to look as a threshold, and what publications they've done. So these are pretty basic, understandable things, and that's how you get in the door for an interview. But then there'll be a theme, and everything here is that interview is really critical, because I want to hire somebody when I'm going to work with them that fits in well with the team. That doesn't mean they have to be like everybody else on the team. They have to be willing to collaborate with the team, get along well with the team, make an effort to be part of an integrated effort. And I think that's really an essential component of anybody we hire. And you realize when you're at work, you spend a lot more time with those coworkers than you actually do with your family, unfortunately, but true. So you want to make sure that you enjoy the people that you work with. So the general hiring principles, and this will again be the theme, is the NOAA policy. Is anybody familiar with this? You might not want to quote me, but I guess I'm going to say it anyway. It's the no assholes allowed. So when you hire people, you really want good folks on your team. So it's not going to be the person who's there gunning for themselves. You really want people who are going to support the back of the other people on your team. And I think if you hire people with that philosophy, you're going to have a much more cohesive group and is going to be much more productive as a team. You also, when you interview somebody, want them to have done their homework. So they need to come in and know what they're getting into. They need to know about your position and what you have to offer, not come in with an arrogant attitude of, you tell me why you should hire me. So think about that a little bit. Think about it from the standpoint of when somebody comes in interviews, if they know what's going on, I think it's going to be a much more collegial and productive discussion. Also, when I hire somebody, I want to see what their potential is. Where do they want to go? What do they want to do? What drives them? And so when you interview, express that of yourself, because I think that makes it much more easy for you to get a good fit that's going to be a good fit for you, but also to be a good fit at the location that you go. And then again, have good references and make sure that people will be able to stand out for you and support you. The other thing that I find pretty remarkable, and we're doing fellowship interviews right now, and I'm also doing one other search I'll talk about in a little bit, very few people actually follow the good ethics and good sense, etiquette, that's the word, exactly. Thanks, Rebecca, she had my back. The etiquette of doing thank yous. So, I've had a few fellows come interview, and probably only 3 people actually sent me thank yous. Send a thank you if you're interested, if maybe they don't want my job. But if they do want my job, send a thank you. Say why they think we'd be a good fit, what the match is, what they see themselves doing in our program, because that makes me think that they really want to work hard and would be a great fit for the team. So these are my partners. And when you choose a new hire that's going to be your partner, it's a little different thing than a fellow. You want somebody to join your team that's going to bring a new asset, something different that's going to be unique to them, but also cohesive as part of the whole team. And I've brought people in that start new programs, lead something, can wear a unique hat so that they can be proud of something on their team too. But also we all get along. We have a little text chain. We probably shouldn't be doing this, but in M&M we text each other about the conversations that are going on. And it's really collaborative, supportive, and I find that it's really nice to have a work family that really feels like a family. Some of the things, no matter where you are, that are important, be self-motivated. As the boss, I don't want to have to get on somebody's back for them to do their paperwork, for them to follow up on some phone calls. I want them to be motivated to do that. I'm happy to help them if they come and say, I'm having a hard time with this. I'm happy to help them work through that tough spot, figure out the next way to go. But I really don't want to have to push them to get the next thing done. Some of the things are kind of standard things to be a good doctor, good outcomes in clinical care. Agree to things that you're going to do without prodding, but don't be afraid to ask for help. You do not have to do everything on your own. You just have to get started on your own. And if you have trouble, ask. If you have a good team and a supportive team, they're going to be happy to help you. Collaborations are also really important. When you hook somebody up to collaborate, you want them to follow through on the commitments. You want to be proud of what they do. It's like if your kids get signed up for something, you want them to be successful. Same thing with your partners. So those are the kind of things that you look for and really are part of a team. Available to your patients, available to your partners if they call you for help as well. And affable, nice to people. You want nice people. And then if problems arise, if there's something going down that's difficult, they've had a conflict with somebody outside of our division, come to me and we'll try to troubleshoot that early before it gets to be a problem. And I think if you come with that attitude, it's going to keep you from getting problems down the road. Some of the other things, these are pretty straightforward. Do the professionalism things, take adequate and equitable call, do appropriate billing and documentation, be collegial, be engaged, be open to feedback. When I come to you with feedback, it doesn't mean that you're doing a bad job. It means I'm trying to help you do better. And realize that when you're getting that feedback from your boss as well. Be professional in your demeanor. I really don't want to have to fight the angry person, but sometimes that happens. So try not to be the angry person. Take a deep breath if you find yourself in that situation. If you need coaching to help you through some of these things, those are available. Go ahead and ask. It's a lot easier from a supervisor standpoint to help you get help before it becomes a problem. And recognize your role on a team. Again, try to support your colleagues and your whole team will do better than if you're gunning to be the number one person by yourself. So there's a lot of things, I think Arghavan talked on these too, you know, the basic concepts of being an academic physician, or if you're in private practice, some of these things are not as relevant. But there's teaching roles, clinical productivity things, I think particularly now that we're getting tighter on money, these things are mattering. So do your share, try to make yourself at least neutral in terms of costs. And then get some stuff done to get your name out there. Particularly in an academic center, I want you guys to recognize the name Stony Brook. So when my partners publish things and they get things out there, I think that helps us as a whole. So get abstracts presented and published. When you have an abstract, you should have the follow-through to get that paper published. It means you have an idea and somebody recognized it as good. So you should be able to get that paper published somewhere. It may take some follow-up, but make sure you have that follow-up. That's actually a red flag to me on a CV if I see somebody has done a ton of abstracts and presentations and hasn't actually brought those things through to fruition. So remember to try to complete that process when you have a cool idea. Books and chapters, I think these are, interesting. You get your name out there sometimes on a cover, that's great. But those are really mostly filler and may help a little bit with clinical reputation, but this is not number one in terms of goals. Institutional service is sort of under respected when you're on a national level, but from a division chief standpoint, these are things I want my people doing, is being on committees, working for those internal accomplishments, because that gets our level up in the hospital. We're respected more, we're known more, people then will send us more patients. This in general is a really good thing to do. And for the people in community practice, these are the things that lead you on that track to being the local division chief, the chief of surgery in general, or CMO type roles in the hospital as well. So these things do have some effect, and they're pretty cool projects sometimes. You can really do some throughput things, some enhanced recovery projects that will make a difference to patients beyond your own individual practice. And these things are what sets you up to really be successful as a group and to get good credit for your people doing good things. So something else I'm doing, and I think this is different, and I don't think we teach ourselves this very well. So if you're hiring in for something beyond your first attending surgeon job, chances are that's going to be somewhat of a leadership role. And that's different. When you come in for that job, it's no longer what you can do. It's no longer about your individual goals, your individual successes. When you come in for a group leadership role, you need to be talking about the group. Have a vision and a plan for the group. Talk about where you want to take it, how you want to grow it, how the team is going to be. So get references, have the experience, talk about what your plan is, how you're going to enact it, how you're going to overcome the hurdles that you've learned about at that new institution, and what those hurdles are going to mean, and how you've got the toolbox to address those. So this again goes back to doing that homework, making sure you have a plan. And be aware of things that you've had that you can talk about. What have you tried and failed at? Because how you've actually gotten over those failures will make people think about how you might get over future failures. You're going to have them. It's there. Talk about some change management. What was another kind of hurdle or problem that you've solved? Did you make something more efficient? Did you come up with a new cool plan? Did you put an ERAS protocol in effect that worked really well? These are the kind of success stories that are team success stories that people want to hear about. The people that you hire in a leadership role are going to be people that work well with the existing people. They have plans, they have vision, and leadership ability to really help the people that are there to be successful. Also, I think it's important when you hire somebody and a leader that they have connections, because part of the goals is they're going to hire new people and they're going to want to keep those people. So that connectivity that they have, which you get from things like SAGES, is very helpful. The other thing from a SAGES standpoint is when you hire somebody for a speaker role, what do you look for? Well, you want people who talk well, like our previous speakers have been, but they also have to meet the deadlines, get their presentations in if they need to be reviewed, if they need questions for the CME stuff, get those questions in, try to follow through on that. Now, some of the stuff is getting panel diversity. We're trying to make a real effort to make sure that people are not all the same up here, because I think when you get things from different backgrounds and perspectives, you're going to learn more as an audience. So when I'm planning a panel, I make sure that I'll have different ideas represented. And then the areas of expertise have to align, obviously, with the talks that they're giving. So SAGES committees. Now, all of you, if you're excited about SAGES, are going to be on a SAGES committee. How do you do that? Well, on our webpage, there's this link, nicely highlighted in blue, like it's supposed to be for a link. But click on that, fill out the page, volunteer for a committee. This is how I'm making the committee assignments this year. So if you want to do something, go in there, fill out the paragraph, say why, but do it soon because I'm going to be doing this month. So if you guys want to join, I'll let you join. Just take the time to go actually fill out this form. We have 42 committees or task force, lots of opportunity to be engaged. And candidate members are included. So if you're still in training, that's okay. Just tell me why you want to do this and how it will work for you. And then once you get there, show up, do the work, and you'll get promoted. We actually even have candidate members as co-chairs now on our committee. So it doesn't matter what level you are. SAGES is a meritocracy. We'll give you an opportunity to get engaged, show up and do the work, and you'll get promoted. So how do you get promoted to that chair and co-chair level? Well, the people who are on the committee, who show up, are responsive, are interested, engaged, have good ideas and bring new things to those committees, those are the people that you want to promote in the organization. And then if you get asked, participate, show up, come to things. Part of it's based on experience or interest. We definitely have people in the room that I've moved around on committees because of their experience. And that fills a need for us from a society standpoint. And then again, people who are doing the we rather than the me are the people who have more leadership potential, and that's who we're going to try to promote in the society. I had the honor of serving on the nominating committee last year, so I think I'm one of the few people in this room who can comment on this. And this is how you get to be on the board for SAGES, on the exec, or actually in the leadership roles. And this is what we look at. We're actually coming up with something now called the SAGES CV. This came out of our We Are SAGES Diversity Committee on a really transparent way to make this process work so people know what they need to do if this is their goal. So some of that is based on contributions to SAGES, some is recommendations from the chairs of our existing committees, leadership ability, follow through, collegiality, and citizenship. Again, we want people who are going to be easy to work with. We do value diversity of opinion and experience. Again, you don't want your leaders to all be the same, or we're not going to have creative ideas and do the next big thing. Something else that we are actually grading people on is how much you do for surgical endoscopy. This is the Journal of SAGES. we value contributions to this. This is actually a big revenue stream for us as an organization. So we actually have a new score that we're going to be using this year to actually rate our people on their reviewership, and that's going to matter for promotion within SAGES. So what do I want after I've recommended somebody? Follow through when I recommend them. For speakers, authors, committee members or chairs, leadership roles, at home or outside, and even for new jobs. If you support somebody for a new position, you want to make sure they do a good job. And you guys now know what the things are required for follow-through. So it's all about teamwork. This is Duke field hockey. That's what I played way back when. So support your team. Be a collegial coworker. These are what SAGES put forward as our values, and I think these are the values I completely support in terms of the people I want to work with. Think about these things: diversity and inclusivity, professionalism, education, innovation, collegiality, and quality. These are really the tenets to who you want to work with and who you want to promote. So again, what do I look for? Self-motivated, attention to deadlines and commitments, meet a need, do your work, you're likable, and you support the team. Thank you.